audience to please stand up to welcome the guests. Good morning and welcome to the honorable guest for today, eminent scientist Dr. Mashelkar, Pro-Chancellor Dr. Swati Muzumdar Madam, Vice Chancellor Dr. Gauri Shurkar, Head and Director of Schools of Symbiosis Skills and Professional University and Symbiosis Open Education Society, all staff members and my dear students. Innovation plays a key role in introducing novelty to the existing ecosystem. Here at Symbiosis Skills and Professional University, we encourage our students to innovate and become entrepreneurs in line with the fundamental philosophy of the Skill University and to accelerate their skills to engage in various guidance sessions by eminent speakers. It is indeed our honor to have Dr. Mashelkar, sir, today for the session Innovation for All. May I now request our Pro-Chancellor, Dr. Swati Muzumdar Madam, to kindly escort Dr. Mashelkar, sir, on the stage and introduce him.
Respected Dr. Mashelkar, all the staff and students of Symbiosis Skills and Professional University as well as Symbiosis University of Applied Sciences, our distinguished Professor Dr. Korgaonkar, and all those who have gathered here today. It is indeed a very, very proud privilege and honor for us that Dr. Mashelkar has taken out time from his extremely busy schedule for his love and affection for Symbiosis and Dr. Muzumdar sir that he is here today. Sir, thank you. We are really, really looking forward to listening to your thoughts. It is indeed my privilege to welcome Dr. Mashelkar sir, a job which was to be done by his old friend and the Chancellor of this university, Dr. Muzumdar sir, who for some reason was not able to make it today. But I'm sure he may be watching it online on YouTube. Dr. Mashelkar is India's most eminent scientist, a philosopher, an academician, and most importantly for you students, a fantastic teacher. He has served 11 years as the Director General of the Council of Scientific and Industrial Research. He was also President of the Indian National Science Academy and the Institute of Chemical Engineers, UK. He is well known for his contributions on many fronts in science and technology. Several Mashelkar committees have been witnessed by our country, the most recent one being on education and the new education policy. He has been a successful campaigner against foreign patents and has focused on Indian traditional knowledge. His mantras of inclusive and innovation, more from less for more, and Gandhian engineering. His contributions to our country and to science at large have been honored by a plethora of awards, the most significant being the Padma Vibhushan, the Padma Bhushan, and the Padma Shri. besides which he has also been a recipient of the Shanti Swarup Bhatnagar Prize for Science and Technology. He is the only third Indian engineer to be inducted as a Fellow of the Royal Society of UK and the first Indian to be elected as a Fellow of the National Academy of Inventors, United States. He is deeply connected with global innovation movements. He served as a president of the Global Research Alliance, which is the world's largest network of publicly funded R&D institutes that work together to achieve Millennium Development Goals. He is an ambassador and evangelist for innovation and R&D across the world, not just in India, and serves on the board of many leading companies, including the Reliance Group. Without further ado, I request Honorable Dr. Mashelkar sir to address our dear students from Pune and Indore, for whom today will be indeed a memorable day in the history of this university. Welcome again, sir, and we look forward to many more such visits for this university. Thank you.
Control. This is forward. This forward. And this is green. Yeah, okay. Yeah, we can make it dark, I think. Lights. I'll do that, yeah. Can you? Yeah. Yeah, that's okay. Light is fine. Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much, Honorable Pro-Chancellor Dr. Swati Muzumdar, for those wonderful, warm and affectionate words of welcome. Like I said upstairs, I'm one of you. I'm an alumnus of Symbiosis. I got an honorary doctorate a few years ago, so I'm going to speak to you as one of you. I've been very privileged to have Dada, as we fondly call him, Professor S.B. Muzumdar, as my iconic mentor, guide, friend, and philosopher over the years. And the affection with which he has treated me is reflected in a number of things that have happened, including when we began the Golden Jubilee celebrations. They began with my invited lecture. That was one of the greatest honors that I had. Symbiosis is a great institution, and you are very, very lucky to have been the alumni of this institute. The subject on which I'm going to talk today is a subject that is very close to my heart: innovation. Innovation is simply doing things differently to make a difference. The simplest definition, so as to say. And I must give the credit for this title to our Honorable Pro-Chancellor. Swati, it was you who suggested the title, all right? And this subject is very close to my heart, not only innovation, but innovation for all. Because innovation that just helps a small fraction of the society, which brings smile on the face of a small fraction of the society, is of no consequence. It must bring smile on the face of everyone, 1.4 billion Indians. So what I'm going to talk to you about is that how do you make innovation work for all, so as to say. That is the topic. Now, I don't have to tell you about innovation, because innovation has changed the world. For example, you see here where we started, the steam engine, for example, or the light bulb, or the printing press, which changed communication dramatically around the world, or look at the telephone, look at the personal computer, World Wide Web, light emitting diodes, or for that matter, the lithium-ion batteries, laptop, and so on and so forth. The challenge is, when these innovations came up, were they available for all? And if they're not available, how is it that we can make them available? Now, if you see, why is innovation for all so important? I'll explain that to you. Now, take a simple sort of thing like education, for example. You would say education and innovation, how are they related? I'll explain to you how they'll be related. The first expectation that you will have from me is that as a scientist, maybe I should start with an equation, all right? So I will not disappoint you. I will start with an equation. There was a meeting of young scientists where they were discussing what is the most powerful equation ever. First said Newton, force equal to, mass into acceleration. I'm testing out, by the way. Then somebody said, no, Einstein. Einstein is E equal to mc square. See, our boys and girls are so clever. Then somebody came to me and he said, you did not say anything. What is, according to you, the most powerful equation? I said, not Newton, not Einstein. They said, oh, not Newton, not Einstein? I said, the most powerful equation is none of these, but it is E equal to F. So they wondered, what was E, what was F? I said, E is education and F is future. Education equal to future. And this institution is doing precisely that. It is building your future. Now then you will say, if education is equal to future, you can't just get away by giving an equation. You have to prove it. So here is the proof. What is the proof? Let's see this lady. She's a poor lady, but she understands the importance of education. She's getting her daughter ready, okay, so that she will have a future, because she already knows the importance of that. You would say, no, that is not good enough. Tell us about your personal experience to prove it. This is the personal experience. The date is 17 March, and this scene is from Rashtrapati Bhavan. On that day, R.K. Narayanan, late R.K. Narayanan, who was our president, gave Padma Awards. And here you see the Padma Awards being received at his hands by both me and Ratan Tata. You say, how does that prove the equation? You have to go back into the background of R.K. Narayanan. He was born in a very poor family. He used to walk kilometers to the school. His parents were so poor that they could not afford the tuition fee. So he would stand outside the class and take notes. My life was not very different. I was also born in a very poor family, in a village called Mashel, in Goa. That's how I'm Mashelkar. My father died when I was 6. My mother could barely read, barely write. She had never gone to school. She brought me to Mumbai in search of a job. She did practically menial work to bring me up. 2 meals a day was a challenge. I've gone hungry many nights. I walked barefoot until I was 12. I studied under street lights. And then miracle happened in K.R. Narayanan's case as well as my case. K.R. Narayanan got Tata Scholarship, so he could study. I got Tata Scholarship, therefore I could study. In fact, in SSC, secondary school certificate exam, 11th standard, many of you will not know. In Maharashtra state, in 1,35,000 students, I had stood 11th, and yet I was going to leave the job. Seek for a job and leave education. So both of us made our careers because of a Tata scholarship. Now here you see the paradox. K.R. Narayanan, a Tata scholar, is giving Padma Bhushan to Ratan Tata, head of Tatas, and he's giving it to another Tata scholar. Does it prove E equal to F? Yeah, it does, isn't it? So education is future, but here is the difference. I got 60 rupees per month and I could study. Could I do that today? Answer is no. Why? You see that when pandemic came, there was no other way excepting online learning. Okay? So if you didn't have digital access, what did you do? You couldn't study. And you can see here, Assam, with no smartphone, 15-year-old student commits suicide after failing to attend online classes. Can you imagine a 15-year-old planning one suicide? But that was not all. You saw across India. In Punjab, 11th class student, Assam, 15-year-old student, Maharashtra, near Satara, a 15-year-old girl, West Bengal, class 10 student, Kerala, 16-year-old student, Karnataka, 15-year-old student. So universal digital access becomes very important. In fact, I remember I participated, there was a university president's meeting in UNESCO, and I mentioned about importance of digital access during COVID. And I remember Jeffrey Sachs saying that this should be the 18th Sustainable Development Goal, SDG, Roti, Kapda, Makan, and Internet, so as to say. They become sort of all important. So the point I'm trying to make is that this is becoming a requirement. Now you would say, if you had created, let us say, a cheap laptop, it could have been possible, isn't it? And I remember in year 2005, you can see Mr. Kapil Sibal, who was the education minister, I had put a grand challenge. I'm a 10x guy, 10 times cheaper, 10 times better. So we had created a New Millennium Indian Technology Leadership Initiative, and I said, the laptop is $2,000. Can you do it in around $100? And it was created, $120. 2005, it was $120. Today, it would have been $25, $30, isn't it? But it wasn't. And then, this Akash was displayed, $35 tablet. It doesn't exist. Then came Simputer, for example. This, you can see, it was ahead of the rest of the world. The most significant innovation in computer technology in 2001 was not Apple's gleaming titanium PowerBack G4 or Microsoft Windows XP. It was the Simputer, a net-link, radically simple portable computer intended to bring the computer revolution to the third world. That's what Bruce Sterling had said. We always talk about copying, doing reverse engineering. Here we are ahead of the rest of the world. And yet, it did not transform the world. Why? So the main point I want to make is that what went missing in Akash, Simputer, and mobile, bold and innovative public procurement policy for and of innovation. That's what was required. When you have a startup, it's just starting up. And therefore, to ask that startup to have 10 years experience is wrong. And therefore, in Maharashtra State Innovation Society, of which I happen to be the co-chairman, in 2019, we changed the policies of procurement, all right, tendering process, and so on and so forth. And you can see the difference that is coming up. For example, right here in Pune, there was this startup which created a drone which could clear liquid surfaces. And Pune Municipal Corporation actually gave him an order without the proper tendering process based on merit. And you can see today, within 4 years, he has become a major supplier for defense. Central point is our country is capable of going ahead of the rest of the world. We don't have to do reverse engineering. We don't have to do copying. our minds are fertile. They have to be actually supported by. So the big lesson for innovation is innovation for all can happen with technology plus policy. But the question that I ask is that, is mere technology, mere policy adequate? And answer is no. So, Swati, this is very interesting. This is created by a Symbiosis student, Amya Madan. We had her as an intern, and within 6 months we absorbed her in Reliance Innovation Leadership Center. And she's now writing a book on this, by the way. These are the kinds of students our institutes actually produce. And here is the basic concept. Because when you have an idea, it is like seed. But do you eat seeds? No. What do you eat? You eat fruit. And for moving from seed to fruit, you have to have a tree. And you have to complete the entire process. Now, if you see the process, the gardener is like an entrepreneur. He creates value, seed to fruit. So first you have to dig it, prepare the soil, that's your incubator, and I'm very happy that our university is creating those incubators where those ideas could be seeded. But the quality of the seed, the potential of the idea cannot be a lousy idea, me too idea, incremental idea. It has to be sort of a potential idea, from which we can grow finally a tree. And then seed to sapling, there is a long journey. You have to protect it. That means strong intellectual property rights and so on. Then you have to take constant care. You have to add fertilizers, like the angel funding, mentorship. I'm very happy that you have a mentorship program already in place. Then you have to protect it from rains, for example. So established competitors will always try to sort of suppress you, so you have to protect yourself. And then, of course, right network. So therefore, seed to sapling first is not an easy process. That is where you require support. And then, of course, finally the tree. All right? There will be seasonal changes, changing environmental conditions, etc. And then you have to have a strong trunk. So growth in core business, firm roots. So there has to be solid policy support. The branches, for example, business has to diversify. And finally, you bear flowers and then you bear a fruit. And that is where you start making a profit. So the idea that I want to depict here is that it is not just technology and policy. There's a big ecosystem, as you might say. And this is the best way of explaining the journey of innovation, from seed to fruit. Now, the next question that, the point I would like to make is exactly what, Swati, we were discussing. Everyone is someone, and everyone has to be given a chance. And minds on the margin are not necessarily marginal minds. The fact that somebody comes from a rural village doesn't mean anything at all. And therefore, the important part is that innovation by all can be done by everyone. Or in other words, what I'm saying is that the idea of innovation is that there is a laboratory and then there is a lot of money that is put in, and then you create an innovation, and then the benefits are given by creating a company, etc. That is wrong. Each one of us can create an idea. And therefore, this democratization of innovation becomes extremely important. You might say, can you give us some examples so that we could understand? So, the first example I'd like to give is of this girl. You see in the picture, Professor Anil Gupta and myself. National Innovation Foundation was created for grassroots innovation. Grassroots innovations could be an artisan, a farmer, a school dropout, anyone, by the way, any one of us. And we used to give annual awards, basically, and they were given by the Honorable President. Now, here is a girl, Remya Joseph from Kerala. What was her problem? Her mother was perennially ill, her father had cancer, and she had to change 3 buses to go to the school. And then come home and study, but at the same time, wash clothes. So what did she do? She said, I will wash my clothes as well as study. How could you do that? She created that pedal-driven washing machine. So she could read as well as do the pedaling. That was innovation, done by a 14-year-old. And she was honored by the president. Look at the next one, Shalini from Bihar, again a 14-year-old. She found that her grandfather had difficulty in walking up the stairs, the walker. So she created front-loaded, spring-loaded, the front two legs so that he could go up the stairs. In fact, we refined that particular model and by taking help of a good design company. And today, the royalties that come to her, because they sell around 10,000 of such walkers, the royalties that come to her are more than the annual income of her father, of that poor girl. I think what is the point I'm trying to make? All of us can do it. That young girl can do it. They would say, well, is innovation only the play of the young? Not necessarily. Look at this. An old man. What is he doing? It's very interesting. He was also awarded by the president. So in Lucknow, the river got flooded and he was stuck at one end, and his wife was at the other end. And there was no means of traveling. So he created an amphibian bicycle, which could sort of go across, and then he started ferrying also the children. I think the point here is that age does not matter. Your ability that I am not going to be a part of a problem, but a part of a solution matters. The point I'm trying to make is that innovation is not complex. When you are actually faced with a problem, you find a solution, and there are multiple solutions. And poor are experts in finding solutions. Look at this. Just look at the bicycle. How many innovations have come there? You'll find somebody is using rider-induced bicycle, another one is using bicycle-based sprayer, somebody is using bicycle-based portable pump, etc., etc. This is the main point. Everyone is someone, and minds on the margin are not marginal minds. All right? Now, I would say for innovation for all, I had this inspiration from Mahatma Gandhi. What did Mahatma Gandhi say? He said that earth provides enough to satisfy every man's need, but not every man's greed. What did he mean? That means you have resources which are exhaustible, use them carefully, create more from less and less so that you can preserve it for your great-grandchildren and their great-grandchildren. That is more from less. It also said that I value every invention of science made for the benefit for all. I said innovation for all, benefit for all. Innovation for benefit for all. Now you combine the two, and what do you get? You get the new dictum, which I actually in 2008, when I was honored with Australian Academy Fellowship, I coined the word Gandhian engineering. For them it was a surprise because you know computer engineering, you know chemical engineering, you know metallurgical. What is Gandhian engineering? So I defined Gandhian engineering as getting more performance from less resource for more people, MLM. It became famous as MLM. And then if you just see more from less for more, high quality hepatitis B vaccine, can you make it 40 times cheaper, not 40%, and high quality? That means affordable, excellent. High quality cataract eye surgery, 100 times cheaper, not 100%, but high quality. Can you do high quality open heart surgery, 20 times cheaper, high quality, not 20% cheaper? Or, for that matter, can you do high quality artificial food, 300 times cheaper? And you will find these are no dreams, India has done it, getting more from less for more and more people. Because as you get it for a less and less price, it becomes available to more and more people. Now, Going forward, I would say that MLM mantra creates innovation for all and giving access equality despite income inequality. You can just see that. Income equality here is 100:1, but if you see access equality, it is 1:1, right? Just see that picture again. How is this possible? How was that possible? You remember Dhirubhai Ambani in 2003 had said innovation for all, phone call at the price of a postcard, and his son, Mukesh Ambani, did even better. This is a photograph in our Reliance Innovation Leadership Center. I have been the chairman of the Reliance Innovation Leadership Center. And in 2017, the son did even better. In what way? Just see what he did. If you look at the phone call, his father had said the price at a postcard. He said, no, just free. If you just see before Jio and after Jio, you see 4G VoLTE phone was 20,000 rupees. It was brought down to 1,500. If you see the data per GB, the cost not 300 rupees but 5 rupees. And if you see the voice expenditure, not 100 rupees but free, so as to say. This is innovation for all, benefit for all. If you look at the MLM mantra, it has spread very widely around the world. In fact, C.K. Prahlad, a great innovation guru, and I wrote a paper in Harvard Business Review. What is happening? Yeah, can you make sure that the quality remains? Yes. And I wrote a paper. It is Innovation's Holy Grail, Getting More from Less for More. This is now ranked among the top 10 must-read papers. And not only that, within few days after that had appeared, in World Economic Forum, there was a special session on more from less for more. Why do you think that must have happened? It is because the importance of actually making innovation for all and not just from selected few. Now, if you just see there was this TED talk, by the way. It has gone to 23 languages. It has been translated, the same particular concept. So the message went very, very fast and very, very wide. I myself took it around the world. We started in Canberra when I gave the first talk. You can see then in Washington, New York, Boston, Atlanta, I spoke about this. In Washington, in the World Bank, they created a special project on inclusive innovation for Vietnam, $55 million. In Brussels, Cambridge, London, Munich, Paris, Zurich, I spoke. Brussels, for example, in the European Commission, something like 2,000 Europeans were there, and I remember their picking up these ideas and getting them integrated in their Horizon 2020 program. You look at Bangkok, Kuala Lumpur, Manila, Dhaka. In Manila, Asian Development Bank, they created a project on more from less for more. Beijing, I spoke, several parts of Europe, and Colombo, then Cape Town, Pretoria, Medellin in the World Association of Industrial Technology Research Organization. The opening plenary talk was on this, and so on and so forth. So the word actually got spread around the world, and I'm very happy because India has to be a thought leader. But you would say that this is what you did around the world. What did you yourself do? As Swati mentioned, I was the Director General of CSIR, and we actually worked on inclusive innovation as a driver for creating a better India. Like, for example, today we have the cheapest generic drugs of very high quality. It is because of CSIR. We had the cheapest pesticides, insecticides, which created green revolution. It was because of CSIR. So that was on CSIR. That was an institution. But what did I do myself? My mother, Anjani Mashelkar, in her name I have created a Anjani Mashelkar Foundation. And the day she passed away, 17 November, on that day we give an award. And this award is not given to best practice. It is given to next practice. I'm not a great believer in best practice because you are copying somebody's best practice. We have to create a next practice where others will copy us and be the best practice. Is it possible? I will show you how it is actually possible. So, look at these targets, for example. ECG test. Can you do it in 5 rupees? Looks impossible. Hemoglobin test. Can you do it in 10 rupees? Looks impossible. $1 for a breast cancer screening. Looks impossible. But my friends, I'm very happy to say that they have been all done. Like, for example, Rahul Rastogi, creating this. And this is Sanket, the ECG device. And this is the best practice that we have, isn't it? If you want to take ECG, what do? You go, lie down there, put 12 lead, and then the nurse comes, and then print out, takes about half an hour, right? How about this? A portable ECG. You carry it in your own pocket. It's a very high technology, by the way. What you do is that you have these 2 sensors. You put your 2 thumbs for 15 seconds. Then you have a sensor here. This is your heart. 15 second, 15 second, 15 second. Above. 15 second, 15 second, 15 second below. And if you have downloaded an app called Sanket, the ECG goes to your mobile phone straight away. So in other words, from best practice, this is the next practice. This is what exactly happens, and it gets transmitted. Now, you can just see that this was the first device he created, Sanket 1.0. This was the best practice. And then he himself created the next practice, which is this, Sanket Life 2.0, which is this particular device. You can buy it on Amazon, by the way, all right, just for 4,000 rupees. And the important part about this is that this is capable of taking 12 lead medical grade ECG for rupees 5 per scan, and there are 2 lakh devices sold in 8 countries, US FDA certificate, patents, and so on and so forth. Can you see the significance of this? Swati, this is innovation for all. Just imagine an old lady in a village having chest pain at midnight. What would you do? You'd put her in a bullock cart or in a sort of motorcycle or a jeep and take her a few kilometers away. You don't have to do that. If the connectivity is there, within 3 minutes, the best expert anywhere, in Pune, in Mumbai, in Delhi, anywhere, he can actually get it. That's what one means by innovation for all. Let us look at the second case, Mishkin Ingawale for Touch HB, for detecting hemoglobin. Now, you just see, Mishkin, what did he do? If you look at the best practice and next practice, you see the best practice is invasive with needles, isn't it? We have to take out the blood. He said, no, I won't take out the blood. Non-invasive, no needles. The best practice will cost 150 rupees, costs here just 10 rupees. Okay? And he created this best practice of a device called Touch 1.0 by using these high technologies, photophotometry, spectrophotometry, advanced software for photon scattering. Now watch here. Making high technology work for the rich, very easy. Making low technology work for the poor, very easy. He makes high technology work for the poor. This was his best practice. So you just put your finger and you know, all right? Don't have to take the blood at all. But he was not satisfied with it. He created the next practice. And what was the next practice? You can see that here. Just a camera. You look into the camera, captures the picture of conjunctiva and uses the method of reflectors photometry to find out your hemoglobin. And this is now moving to lakhs of people. Can you just see what it means? No woman has to die of anemia because her low levels of hemoglobin were not tested because she refused to give the blood. All that she has to do is to go and look in a camera. This is transformational. This is innovation for all. Okay? Now, the basic issue is that here you are just looking to the camera. Supposing you are interested in the health of your lung. This was last year's awardee here, and you can see what he did. Please understand what is there. Normally, if you want to find out the health of your lung, that means do you have TB or you have COVID or you have asthma, what do? You use what is called a spirometry. That spirometer costs about ₹1,00,000. For one test, it requires 1,500 rupees and takes 90 minutes. Remember these parameters, 1 lakh, 1,500, 90 minutes. Now you can see here what you have been able to achieve. All that you have to do is that you have a smartphone and you cough into it. And there is an AI-based system that has been put in there by which you know whether you have TB, whether you have COVID, you have asthma. And absolutely accurate. This has got US FDA certificate, patents and everything, so as to say. Now, can you see what it costs? First, no device, because it is your smartphone, you are using it anyway. How much time does it take? Instant, not 90 minutes. How much cost? Maybe around ₹1. That's it. This is transformation, and this is going all over the world now. You know, the way he's moving. Created by a young Indian mind, by the way. All right? This is transformative. So finally, when we talk about innovation for all, it is all about looking into a camera, knowing your hemoglobin, coughing into a smartphone, knowing your health of the lung. These are Indian innovations, innovations, as I actually call them, and these are innovations for all. Breast cancer, for example, I'll quickly show you, just $1, by the way. And this is ultra-portable, accurate, minimal training, wireless, cloud-connected, instant results. Looks like a toy, isn't it, which you move around the breast. But you'll see this is going to now 25 plus countries with over 500 million women with the partnerships that they have created. And Indian innovation for all that was created is benefiting the world now. Look at this fellow, Innovation for All. Every pregnant woman in every remote village, he has created this aloe vera, aloe tricorder, and for 1,000 days, it is just 1,000 rupees. And actually, he's covering large number of villages now, and pregnant women know exactly what their health parameter is. And in fact, there has been 38% increase in the average weight of newborns because of sort of good care that is being taken. Again, innovation for all. Now here, I must say, when we talk about innovation for all, I talked only about technological innovation. It is not just technological innovation. There are different forms of innovation. For example, business model innovation, you have workflow innovation, the organizational innovation, research process innovation, system delivery innovation, policy innovation. So when we teach our students about innovation, all these aspects have to be covered. I just will take one example. Take workflow innovation leading to innovation for all. The cataract surgery, Arvind Eye Care. Doesn't take $3,000 like in the US. Takes around $30 and also free. How is it done? You will say it increases surgeon productivity, not the number of surgeons. It uses the assembly line technique like you have in McDonald's, for example, delivery of same quality products in diverse regions through highly trained staff, all right? And also, the operating profits are more than 40%, but only 30% of the patients pay. That means 70% of the patients have it free, so as to say, and still they make a profit. This is what is called as doing well by doing good. He is doing good to the poor, but at the same time, it is profitable. That is the kind of innovation for all that India should be having. Now, you will say, oh my God, if it is so cheap, it must be terrible. I'm sorry, but very proud to tell you that if you see this, you know, this is from Royal College of Ophthalmic Surgeons. This is after the surgery, by the way. Capsule rupture. Arvind Eye Care is 2 times better. Iris trauma. Arvind Eye Care is 2 times better. Anterior chamber collapse, again 2 times better. Look at iris prolapse, it is 7 times better. Retained lens material, again better. You look at loss of IOL into vitreous, 16 times better. Can you just imagine? This is what I mean by getting more from less. All right? You're not spending more money, you are spending actually less money, but a very high quality. And India has done it. This is now in 17 countries. That is the point. I'm trying to bring to you a special flavor of India, that it believes and does innovation for all. There was one awardee who looked at this Gandhian challenge, sanitation is more important than political freedom, Gandhiji had said, and Supreme Court had banged our government by saying that sewers have become now death traps, so as to say. So when you look at manual scavenging, what was happening? The manholes, for example, 4.5 million people are engaged, and so many thousands die, and one manual scavenging death every 5 days, that was the kind of a situation. And what was done was these young boys from Kerala, undergraduate like you, they asked a question, manhole is a bad word. Man in the hole is a bad idea. It should be man in the hole, but machine. A man should not be in the hole, but it should be the machine. And they created a robot, and I'm very happy that you have courses on robots here, for example. These are the kind of challenges we have to look at. So they created that with a simple user interface. So what is the effect of that now? If you just see the effect in this, this same manual scavenger, this is called Gen Robotics. What does he do now? What they did was that the manual scavengers, they would lose their job if machine takes over. So what did they do? They trained the manual scavengers as robot operators. Now, Swati, you can understand the importance of this. If that manual scavengers' children were in school and they were asked, what does your father do? They would have put their head down and say, manual scavenger. Now, if they're asked, what does he do? They would put their head up and say, robot operator. This is access to dignity. Innovation for all has to bring access to dignity. That is the value that we have to finally create for humankind, and that was these awards that were given to these young people. And this has had an influence in changing the government policies. You must have heard the recent budget, and the bill was actually passed in terms of banning manual scavengers, but giving them an alternative employment, etc. Can you just imagine the empathy in the young minds of 4 undergraduates created something which is changing the society. Social transformation. As I said, our university has to be a university of social transformation. This is what social transformation is. Now, I think the global academic and research community is also doing that, by the way. Innovation for all. Because it might appear that only we are interested in doing that. That's not the case. It is about driving science and technology for inclusive policy. Gandhian engineering needs to be integrated. Stanford, Harvard, and MIT will also do. You will not believe it, but just see one example. Take ask a question, why are 90% of world's products and services designed for 10% of the world's population? And that question was asked in Stanford University undergraduate, because they have this entrepreneurial design for extreme affordability. And the student competition on grand challenges, something that sort of we also need to do. I'm quite sure you are doing it. And what was the challenge? The challenge that they took up was 20 million premature babies are born every year, and 450 of them die each hour. Because what is the cost? $2,000 cost for one traditional hospital incubator. What did they do? They created a $25 incubator. No electricity, no moving parts, portable and safe. These are by using the phase transfer fluids, which can create the cold around, as we know the science. So what happens is, when a baby is born premature, normally it is taken to the incubators. Okay? But if you just see the reality is that you are in this hut. Where is the question of taking it to the incubator? Impossible. So what you do, you actually move it to the incubator. The incubator moves the hut. All right? So this is the kind of difference you can actually make. So the point that one is trying to make, therefore, is that this idea of innovation for all, doing it good for the society, has to be actually transmitted not when you go into college, but right from your schools. And therefore, our National Innovation Foundation created these awards for young children who think like this for the society and create solutions. And you can see the erstwhile president giving an award to a young girl who had thought of such an idea. Not only that, our president was so happy with these kinds of innovations that in Rashtrapati Bhavan, he has created a special hall for innovation for all, and you can see the happiness on his face when it was actually inaugurated. And of course, now the Gandhian Awards, you can see the erstwhile president starting with these Gandhian Awards all across, because that is the sense that we have to have across, doing well, but also doing good for the society. And I'm very proud to say that this is a very unique photograph taken on 24 July, which was 10 years ago, the last act of the then president in Rashtrapati Bhavan. And you can see here then our Honorable Prime Minister, the incoming president, the outgoing president, the vice president, Professor Anil Gupta, and myself. That was the last act. He chose that as his last act because this book is all about innovation for all, including grassroots innovation that has been done. You know, when such acknowledgement comes at the highest level for this quality of innovation, I think something that we should be really proud of. I would just leave some mantras for you. I just celebrated my 80 years on 1st January, so I've learned a lot in my life, many times by succeeding, but a lot of time by failing. I thought these mantras might be useful to you. I think the first mantra, which is very critical, is always be a part of a solution, never be a part of a problem. And you saw that. Those young kids were having a problem, they solved it. The old man was having a problem, they solved it. All right? And for one problem, there are multiple solutions. Remember that. The second is purpose, pursuance, and passion matters. Perseverance. Always too early to quit. Quitters never win, winners never quit. All right? The third is fail. You will fail. But interpret fail, first attempt in learning. Interpret it as that. Remember, your best guru is your last mistake. As long as you learn from it. If you don't learn from it, you will continue to fail. So remember that. That is very important. Next is scarcity and aspiration is a great combination. In India, there have been challenges, as we all know. And we always, despite the scarcity, we find a solution. I'll just give an example. Once I was talking, I think in Baroda, and I said, we don't innovate enough. Then in the evening there was a dinner, somebody said, what do you mean by we don't innovate? I have created a flexible toothbrush for 1 rupee. I said, impossible. Because I'm a polymer engineer, the handle itself will cost much more than 1 rupee. Okay? He said, who told you I'm using a plastic handle? I use finger. So I say, what's the big deal about it? He says, what I've done is that I've taken Velcro, wrapped it around that finger. And then it goes where normal toothbrush cannot go. It's a flexible toothbrush for 1 rupee. So I went and did Google search about flexible toothbrush. Of course there was a flexible toothbrush done by US, but $100. Why? Because all the electronic machinery for moving it was there. And here it was 1 rupee. Scarcity and aspiration. We don't have resources, we create a solution. Similarly, in terms of marketing, since we are teaching marketing and digital marketing we talked about, Nirma, when they started the business, they were poor. Then they grew as a big company. Now how do you market? You can't have the equivalence of Hema Malini's, who always promises us success, such or something like that, isn't it? Or somebody like that and paying lakhs of rupees per second. So they hired young students, college-going students. What they would go to the shop and ask them, "Aapke paas Nirma hai?" So you say no. After half an hour, another young fellow comes or a girl comes, "Aapke paas Nirma hai?" He says no. After 3 or 4, he says, "My God, I must stock Nirma." Scarcity and aspiration. That is innovation too, basically. All right? And I can give you, if I had 1 more hour, I would give you 60 more examples like that. The point I'm trying to make is that it is in our genes somehow or the other, to innovate. We must. And finally, let your business model always be doing well by doing good. Like I said, doing good to the society also, you can have profitable businesses. I would like to end by showing this last slide to you. You can see this unfortunate young man has a $12,000 foot, which is great. How many of us can afford that $12,000 foot? We can't. And therefore, we create this foot, $28, and it becomes headline in the Time magazine, front page. Let me show you the film on what this $28 foot is. Can you put that on? Yeah. Yeah. So you can see this Jaipur foot here. What do you see? He's able to climb very easily. See the flexibility, see the quality, and then see what he does. He jumps. Can you just imagine? And then after that he does, will shock you. He runs. Okay? I normally get a clap here, by the way. You should always express yourself. Claps and smiles don't cost you anything. He runs 1 kilometer in 4 minutes 30 seconds. So here is my question. How many of you can run 1 kilometer in 4 minutes 30 seconds? Please raise your hands. Yes, surely you're all young people. Some of you must be at least. Yes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. Swati, what is the capacity of the auditorium? Sorry? 525. So out of 500, 5 can beat him. Can you just imagine? What does that mean? That means he is able to beat 495 of you. Now supposing he was given a wooden foot, he would be crawling. But he has been given Jaipur foot by which he beats 495 of you. That's the importance of Indian innovation, affordable excellence, which is innovation for all. Because now you are given him an equal opportunity to compete with you. All right? Now, I think what is very important, this was, by the way, when I got the J.R.D. Tata Corporate Leadership Award in 1999, I had said this. 1998 I got it, and I had said this, and I will just read out to you. I had said, finally, 1999 should be the year where we should launch a powerful national innovation movement to propel us into the next millennium. The I in India should not stand for imitation and inhibition. It must stand for innovation. The I in IIT must stand for innovation. The I in industry The I in CSR must stand for innovation. The I in every individual Indian must stand for innovation. And then I had ended by saying it is only this innovative India that will signal to the rest of the world that we are not a hesitant nation, unsure of our place in the new global order, but a confident one that is raring to go and be a leader in the Committee of Nations. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. It was indeed a lovely lecture and making innovation sound so palpable for all of us. Also, extending and telling us the meaning of all, which means people from all over, all margins. Thank you so much. It was indeed a wonderful lecture, and I'm sure the students have really benefited, and you have actually instilled a lot of confidence in our students, and not make innovation sound something that only intelligent minds can do, but all of us can do. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. May I now request the students to please come up on stage for the autograph, sir. Sir, if you could please, the students would come up for the autograph. Yes.
So, once again, on behalf of the Chancellor, Dr. S.B. Muzumdar, and all the staff and students of this university, as well as Symbiosis University of Applied Sciences, I thank Dr. Mashalkar for really instilling in us not just a sense of confidence, but I think an attitude of innovation, which itself is a skill that all of you, I hope, can learn from today's inspiring lecture. So it is legends like you who need to come and ignite the minds of young people. I think we are very, very fortunate today that we could, understand from you the real meaning of innovation and how it should cause social impact and do good for others. Once again, a big thank you on behalf of all of us and Dr. Muzumdar. Thank you, sir.